Well, lifetime achievement and contributions to scouting, wow. I'm truly humbled as I know Raleigh is, and I can tell you that I feel very privileged to be able to be recognized alongside Raleigh. I really didn't think that this would ever occur, but it's a real special to me to be able to be recognized with him because you don't you don't go from just a little over 400 partner staff to almost 8,500 partners, and just a little over 80,000 patient visits to uh, over 2 million patient visits, and from 33 million in gross revenue to over 3 billion in gross revenue, and from one standalone facility to 75 facility, 39 communities. It just doesn't happen, automatically. And so you can imagine that Raleigh and I, through the last 30 years, have really had some interesting encounters. But the one thing, and I want to say this before I get into my official comments, that I've always said about Raleigh is he's a rock. He was my rock at Gibraltar. In some ways, a president and CEO can ultimately only be as effective as their board allows them to be. And I'm not going to say that we haven't had board members who've had knocked knees and been afraid of some of the things we're going to do, or sometimes the pushback from competitors and others, and they wanted to run for the hills. But it was always Raleigh who stood strong and basically made sure that the board did not way off the path. And so that allowed me to really execute the vision that the board and I created. And so I just really want to publicly thank Raleigh for his tremendous being that rock of Gibraltar, because you got to have that. Thanks, Raleigh. As you can see, we have a long history. We've had a common vision together. Our overall fundamental purpose, frankly, has been to improve the health and well-being of the communities that we serve, and to really bring excellent, exceptional healthcare services, and really do it with a passion, and instill that passion in all of our staff. And to do that throughout, our first vision was really in the Janesville area, and then it went so well, and our patients were so grateful, we expanded it through southern Wisconsin, and really now all of northern Illinois. So it's, I think when you're caring for people with a passion, that it tends to grow, and people just receive that with open arms, because there's a lot of, one of the things unfortunately that happens in healthcare is that the average tenure of a CEO in a hospital or health system is just under 4 years, if you contact the American Hospital Association. So you can imagine if the captain of the everyday ship is turning over on average just under 4 years, that part of the team usually turns over, and that lack of continuity, that constant changing of visions, is what really caused so many health systems and hospitals to struggle today. Mercy, and has been in the past, Mercy is really truly recognized nationally as being one of the most successful health systems in the United States for many reasons. Of course, it was recognized in the Oval Office by the president. But I have to say that continuity is key to it. Continuity in our board's leadership with Raleigh, continuity in our senior administration. My staff have been with me from the full 30 years, most of them. And if somebody's been around 10 years, I consider them still kind of getting their feet wet, So it's that longevity and that continuity that really leads to success. But scouting, and Larry did a wonderful job, and so did Alex, in talking about the values in the video, the values that I think it goes back to from scouting, because it really all started for me with scouting. And frankly, when I came to Mercy, Raleigh encouraged me. I was busy, but he knew how much I love scouting, to get involved with the Mississippi Council. But for me, it started at age 8. I was one of 12 children. I have 5 brothers and 6 sisters, and I was in the troop in St. Patrick's Church, St. Patrick's School in Rockford, Illinois, on the west side. And I couldn't wait to become a Boy Scout, to get old enough. I'd seen my next older brother, who was in scouting, earning merit badges and all the fun he was having, and even then you might say I was kind of driven and I wanted to be able to start earning my own merit badges. My parents were hard workers, but money was hard to come by. With 12 children, my father was a printer at the Rockford newspapers and never made over $12,000 a year in his life. And my mom cared for me and my 5 brothers and 6 sisters. We lived in a small 3-bedroom home with 1 bathroom, if you can believe it. My father took the lock off the bathroom door so that nobody could take more than their couple of minutes share. And you know, it was in high demand. And my brothers and I shared 1 bedroom on sets of bunk beds, and frankly, it was, when I look back, it was kind of like growing up in an army barracks. My upbringing as a child, but in my scouting experiences, really taught me 2 things. Really, it was scouting was key, and that was, it taught me persistence and perseverance, and how to, on a daily basis, suit up, show up, and do the next right thing. And I think that's been it for me: consistency and daily getting up, showing up wherever you're supposed to be, being appropriately dressed, and then doing the next right thing. And we're all going to have bumps, we're all going to have setbacks, but it's the long haul that counts. And that's what I tried to instill in my children and grandchildren as well. It's the long haul that counts. We're always going to have setbacks, but you just keep going forward. And I frankly learned that from scouting. And I was thinking back, getting ready for this event, when you take a hike as an 8 or 9-year-old, a 20-mile hike, I don't know if they do that anymore, in the hot sun, that teaches you not to give up. It really teaches you that persistence. And I can still remember when you're a little kid and I was short, taking a 20-mile hike in the hot sun. It certainly taught me how not to give up, and it taught me to just keep going. And it's the long haul that counts, and you eventually arrive. So scouting really did give me a blueprint for a successful life and a meaningful life. They taught me many skills, taught me how to survive in the wilderness, cooking, although my wife would say I still have a long way to go in that front. And as I say, that stick-to-itiveness. I still remember one winter, it was 1962, it was January, and we went out, I don't know if it's done like this anymore, but I guess we were going to go out and learn winter camping skills. And in those days, we didn't have lodges or anything, we had tents. And it turned really cold, 20 below zero, and windy, and so imagine spending a weekend in the snow in a tent, 20 below zero, and I was 10 years old, 1962. And we didn't think we were going to survive the weekend, but frankly, we did, and we felt invincible after that. We felt like we could do anything when you achieve something like that. So I think scouting for me was always, at least our particular troop masters, was kind of like always trying to push us to the limits. And then we learned to reach inside ourselves and learn that we could do more than what we thought. I spent my first 5 years as a Boy Scout, as I said, in grade school and junior high at St. Patrick's. Then I went to a year of boarding school as a minor seminary where scouting wasn't available. And then I came back and spent my latter years at Auburn High School in Rockford, and I immediately joined a medical explorer's post when I was in high school. And it was really there that I became interested in healthcare. And even though I had to work hard, being part of a big family, at age 8, I had my first paper out. By age 12, I had 3 paper routes and hired 2 kids to help me deliver the routes, and I collected the money for all 3 routes, and I had a lawn mowing and snow shoveling business. It was all to be able to buy my clothes and to really pay for my camping trips. We used to pay at that time for our camping trips, and we probably didn't have as good a fundraising activity as we had later. So that's how I earned my money. And but the Boy Scout Explorers really gave me my first opportunity at a real job. And being in the medical explorers post in Rockford, it was a doctor at Rockford Memorial who headed up our medical explorers post. And he first helped me get a job in the housekeeping department, mopping floors at Rockford Memorial in radiology and ED. And then I told him I became interested in clinical care, so he helped me get a job as a physical therapy aide in the physical therapy department at Rockford Memorial. I eventually went on to become a physical therapist, getting my degree in physical therapy from Mayo Clinic, and then my master's in healthcare administration from the University of Minnesota. So you can see that being a Boy Scout and being a medical explorer was very influential in my life and even in my career. But I just want to show you a few things to just show you how much that it meant to me. These things are 58 years old. Now, can you imagine keeping something around for 58 years? But I told my wife, make sure, because she likes to clean house a lot. You know, she likes to throw stuff out. She doesn't like to accumulate. And I said, these things are sacrosanct. You don't ever think of throwing these out. So this is my backpack that I used to use, Boy Scouts of America. You know, on my 20-mile hikes and when I went camping, if you guys can see this. And then I had a canteen that I used on those hikes and camping. This was actually my brother's Army canteen. This is back from the Korean War days, but I used that on all those hikes. But this is what I'm most proud of, and it's still my vest that I've got all my various patches and awards, and you can see I have a sash with my merit badges. Zach isn't probably still here, but the kid, I think he outdid me. He had a lot of merit badges. But you know, on here it's the Order of the Arrow, and we got the. In fact, I've got a patch here going back to Black Hawk Council in 1959, an October District Jamboree from 1959, the 12th annual U.S. Grant Pilgrimage in 1962 in Galena, Illinois. There's really Black Hawk Area Council, Follow the Rugged Road. There's really a lot of neat memories on this. So I told Vita, I said, I worked hard for this stuff. Don't ever think of throwing this out. And we're talking almost 6 decades ago. So that shows you just how much it really meant to me, because scouting really taught me how to take on responsibility and build character through service and action. And it not only helped me build confidence, but it really taught me how to focus on service to others. And there's no question that had an influence of why I went into healthcare. Not only service to the individuals, but also about achieving for the common good. And that's kind of what I have always felt about improving healthcare for southern Wisconsin and northern Illinois, to really have people have a better chance at getting top quality, exceptional healthcare, which really saves lives. I also learned very much as a scout, and when I was joined Mercy, I was so impressed with my scouting career and what Medical Explorers had done for me. When Raleigh hired me in 1989 to be the president CEO of Mercy Hospital in Janesville, I started a Medical Explorers post that's still running today. And as the video said, we really have helped many, many hundreds of kids get into the healthcare field through that Medical Explorers post. But I also jumped on the opportunity to be on the Mississippi Council. Andrew was still involved in those days. It's now the Glacier's Edge Council. And I'm sure many of you may remember, I know Andrew does, because we were talking about the old Scoutorama fundraising events, but we used to have a Scoutorama fundraising events. Do you remember any of those, Larry? Yeah. And when I was on the board, I offered to chair the Scoutorama one year, and the committee came up with a brilliant idea that they thought would raise a lot of money. And it was simple. When people came to the Scoutorama for various fun games and activities, if they donated money, they could see the CEO of Mercy kiss a pig on the lips. This is a true story. And so, and I can tell you that I never anticipated all the people that were going to stand in line to donate money to see me kiss a pig. And frankly, by the end of the day, I can tell you that pig and I got real close. And we really did. And so close that I ended up naming her. I called her Babe the pig. Babe the pig. And Andrew, I don't know if that pig is, do you know whatever happened to that pig? Probably, you don't know what happened to that pig. But anyway, I went home. In fact, my wife and I were talking about this just the other night. I went home and told my wife about this, and I couldn't tell the look in Vita's face. At first, I thought, when I told her how much I was making out with that pig that day, I thought that she was kind of jealous. And then when I heard her scream to tell me to go in and scrub my mouth out with Listerine, and several times that she'd never kiss me again, I realized that it was disgust and not jealousy. But anyway, scouting has always been a tremendous adventure for me and a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed it, and that's why I was so happy to participate in this event. And it's taught me to lead with grace and humility and to operate with integrity and to really be of service to others and to help leave a legacy bigger than oneself. So I want to thank you all very much for coming today. I want to thank my family and friends that have come. Also want to thank my Mercy Partners who are here. The Mercy Partners really, what you do for our organization, for our patients and the communities we serve, I can just say that, to me, when I think of Winston Churchill's phrase that it's really, we make a living through what we get, but we make a life through what we give. I happen to know that our Mercy Partners give a lot more than they ever think of receiving, and that's why Mercy is what it is today, and all the healing and lives and families that's been affected through the years, millions. And I just am extremely grateful, and I want you to know to my Mercy Partners that you're true family to me. So thank you very much. I'm extremely thankful to the Boy Scouts for the foundation that it's given me to learn to build and to serve others and to teach me how to do my part to make the world a better place. So again, I want to thank you for this honor, and I want to thank Andrew, and I want to thank Alex and Larry for putting this together. And I know I can speak for Raleigh, I speak for him often, is that it's something Raleigh and I will never forget. Thank you very much.